Hi, I'm Liz Jesse. I'm an outreach specialist at UW-Madison, and I work at BioTrek, which is the outreach program of the UW-Madison Biotechnology Center and UW-Madison Division of Extension. Now, I'm stuck inside like a lot of you are, and I can't be in the lab. Normally, I'd be working with a lot of K through 12 kids, and we'd be running a lot of fun experimental design and extracting DNA, but we're stuck at home. So, on our website at science.wisc.edu, we have collected a lot of at-home activities that you can do in your kitchen or outside, and a lot of these activities are things that you already have stuff at home to work with them, or you can just run to the grocery store and find some really simple things to work with. At BioTrek, all of our activities are very safe. So I'm not wearing safety glasses, but I should be. But seeing that I'm working with everything that is safe here, today I decided not to wear them. So today, an experiment that I thought that I could show you is we're going to make a pH, kind of a pH meter or a pH scale out of not litmus paper, which is what we usually use to take pH, but instead today we're going to use cabbage. Now, red cabbage has a really interesting pigment called flavin in it, which is an anthocyanin. Anthocyanin, you see them in plums and apple skins and grapes, and they are what give things like really cool dark purplish blue colors. And they also will change color according to, if they're in solution, will change color according to if they're with an acid or with a base. They'll change color, so we'll see that today. So acids, just a little bit about acids and bases, you probably have a good little understanding, or basic understanding. But acids, a lot of them are sour, those sour candies that you get in the grocery store that make you pucker up. Those are acidic. Lemon juice, like anything that's sour, they're very caustic. So they're sometimes dangerous. Like hydrochloric acid is in your stomach. It helps break down foods. That's very caustic. It's very acidic. Bases, on the other hand, are very slippery. They are often used in cleaning products, and sometimes they're used to counteract acids, like antacids, right, to counteract that hydrochloric acid in your stomach. So back to our pH meter, our pH scale that we're going to be using today. So in order to make cabbage juice, which I have right here, it's very simple. You really just take a half of a cabbage, all right? Here's where you're going to need some parents' help, all right? And you're going to want to chop this cabbage up, and you're going to want to put it up hot on the stove, and then you're going to mix it with about a gallon of water. It doesn't have to be like any kind of special water. You can get it out of your sink. But about a gallon of water with about a half a cabbage will make you about a gallon of cabbage juice. So you're going to let it cool down, and then you're going to strain out the cabbage bits, and then you'll let this cool down in the fridge, and then it'll be ready to go. Okay, so if we're talking about experimental design, all right, we need to think about some things, right? We need to think about variables. In experiments, you want to have as few variables as possible, right? So think about quantities. Think about, and you can see the solutions that I have selected today, all right, you can see from a little closer. They're all kind of clear, so you want to think about color, especially in an experiment where we're looking for the final colors of things. You probably want them to be clear-ish substances to begin with, right? And also think about amounts. So here are all the cabbage juice containers that we're going to be using. I have measured it out. It is approximately a third of this cup, which is about 50-ish. Well, yeah, I don't know. You'll have to do your own measurement in terms of your cups. I don't know what cup size you have at home, but that's what I used here. I have about a third of a cup. I made sure I was consistent with everything, okay? So think variables, all right? You also have to have a constant, right? So here is just straight old tap water. So we're gonna see what that's gonna do as well, okay? Next thing is it's really important to come up with some predictions, right? So we are going to, and I'll kind of tell you the solutions that I have here. And then I'm going to think about it a little bit if I think that they would be acidic or basic, all right? And then we'll test them out. So I have here, all right, Alka-Seltzer, so an antacid. So I'm thinking in my mind that if it's going to be helping with the acid in my stomach, it's probably going to be pretty basic, okay? So we'll talk about where acid and base is on the pH scale in a minute. So I think that's going to be kind of basic. I have here an egg. All right, and actually I have the egg white in here, so I wanted to keep as little color as possible, right? So this is the egg white. I actually have no idea about the egg white. I'm thinking it might be kind of neutral, so it may be close to like the color of like the water, but I don't really know. That's an interesting one. Okay, I'm gonna say that it's gonna be maybe in the middle of basic and acidic, maybe kind of in the middle of the pH scale. This is a lemon. All right, I think we all can probably agree. It's gonna be pretty acidic, right? It's sour. So I'm gonna say that's gonna be more on the acid side of the pH scale. This is the water. So water generally on the pH scale, we're talking pH. Maybe we should stop for a minute, all right, and talk pH scale. Where something is more acidic, it's going to be more towards 1 or 0. It's going to be low on the pH scale. If something is more basic or more like alkaline, more basic, it's going to be more towards 14 on the pH scale. So distilled water should be right in the middle. So that should be about like 7. All right. So that's kind of where we're at. 14, high, so basic. 0, 1 is going to be low, okay, or acidic. So that's why I'm putting water maybe like smack dab in the middle, maybe around 7 or the middle, okay? All right, I have baking soda here. So baking soda, I know from baking items like muffins and things like that. Baking soda kind of counteracts some of the acid, so they kind of work together to make things rise. So I'm going to say that's probably going to be kind of basic too. So it's probably going to be close to, I don't know, maybe not all the way at 14, but it's going to be a little more basic. Here is like Sprite or like a lemon lime soda. I'm going to say that's similar to the lemon, so it's probably going to be more acidic. And then over here we have vinegar. All right, vinegar, I know, I've tasted vinegar. I love pickles. I know that it's very sour, so I know that's probably going to be more acidic as well, right? Okay, so here we go. We're getting ready to test. This is where it gets kind of fun. We have our predictions. So at home, you should probably work out a data table, right? So I'm leaving this a lot on you all right, to kind of create your own data table, create your own prediction table, kind of put things where you think they should be on the data table. And if we know that the cabbage juice itself is kind of this purplish color, I'm going to say that that purplish color is going to be like neutral for the pH scale. So this purple is probably going to be where like 7-ish would be on the pH scale. Okay, so purple is going to be in the middle. So that means that if I maybe start with the water, because I think water should be close to that, all right? So here is about 1/3 of a cup of, whoop, there you can see it, cool, of our cabbage juice. Now I'm going to fill it with the water. Go to the top. All right, I can put a white piece of paper behind it so you can see it a little bit better, but that looks pretty straight up purple to me, okay? So this is a good thing to work off of, right? It's kind of our control. This is where the middle of our pH scale is going to be around 7-ish, okay? All right, so let me see. Maybe I'll work over here, all right, because this is the antacid. So my guess, all right, was that it's going to counteract the hydrochloric acid in my stomach, so it's probably going to be basic. So it's not going to be this purple, all right? So let's see what something basic would look like using this cabbage juice pH scale. Okay, so here is my cabbage juice. Ooh, once again, see it over here. Good. All right, now I'm going to add. Oh, interesting. Okay, maybe I was a little bit wrong. So take a look at where this is. Okay, this is kind of, and I'll put these kind of next to each other so we can maybe make our own scale here. Okay, so cool. There we go. So put the white piece of paper behind it. You can actually see here's the water. Here's our antacid. It actually is a little pink. Interesting. So, not quite what I thought. That's kind of cool. It's kind of neat when things don't quite work out the way you think, right? That's why we make predictions. All right, we try hypotheses, then we test them, and we see. So I'm going to work right next to it. I also thought baking soda would be a little basic because I know that acids and bases work together. Like buttermilk is acidic, and I think that baking soda is going to be kind of basic. So, sorry, cut so I can see there. Okay. So, let's see how that works. Here is my 1/3 of a cup of cabbage juice. All right. Now, let's pour it in there. Ooh, look at that. Let me put a paper behind it so you can see that. Check that out. That is kind of like a bluish green color. So I think that's definitely, that bluish green color is basic, okay? Because I know baking soda is basic. Okay, so there's where we are so far. Here's our middle, right? This is more basic. This is a little more acidic, okay? Let's put my items behind it so I know what I'm talking about here. Great, okay. All right, how about an egg? I don't know. Egg is kind of interesting, right? I didn't really know what an egg was gonna be, so let's test it and see. So, here is our cabbage juice. Look at that, eggs rolling. Okay, here's our cabbage juice. Stop moving. All right, and here is our egg white. So let's see what happens. Oh, huh. Okay, I'm gonna move this over here and you'll see why in a minute. Take a look at the egg. Check that out. That's pretty blue as well. Okay, interesting. All right, here we go. All right, so moving along. Here is the lemon juice, okay? So here is my 1/3 cup of cabbage juice. And I'm gonna add my lemon juice. Oh, that's fantastic. Look at that. Wow, okay. That is acidic. Check that out. I'm moving that far over here, okay? Sweet. All right, so got my lemon the farthest over here. Then I've got my antacid, which I thought was going to be over there, but it's more over here. Then I have our control, right? Then I have the baking soda, and here is my egg, okay? And we got one more left. Oh, 2 more. This is exciting. Okay, I'm gonna move these over here so we can get our scale rolling here. Wow, this is going to be kind of a beautiful pH scale. Okay. All right, so next we have Sprite. Okay, so there is our 1/3 cup of cabbage juice, and here is our Sprite, which is a lemon lime soda. Yep, check that out. Okay, definitely acidic, right? So let's move it over here. Not as acidic as the lemon juice, right? But it's about right there. Cool, 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 cool. All right, and last but not least, okay, we have our vinegar. So here is our vinegar. All right, let's pour it in. Okay, there's another acid. There's a lot of acids in my kitchen. All right, maybe you'll see what you have in your kitchen as well, right? That's the next step. All right, so here is our vinegar. That side as well, right? So we'll put it over here. Now things get kind of interesting. So here is where we're at. Ooh, everybody can see. Excellent. Okay, so we had, can I have made my own? Maybe I gotta kind of get out of the way so you can see it against the white wall pretty well. Okay, move these out of the way as well. Cool, 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 cool. Okay, sweet. This is my own personal pH scale that I have made. So over here is actually the most basic, right? And this paper works pretty well too. Most basic. Moving away to this was actually where our cabbage juice was. So I had a lot more acids and bases in the materials that I found in my kitchen. And then moving my way this way to our most acidic, which was the lemon juice. Okay. So my challenge to you is to try this at home, obviously. Get out of the way. Oh, that's so pretty. Check that out. So, you know, take a look in your kitchen and kind of work your predictions first. So open up your fridge, open up your cabinets a little bit and say, what do I think in these cabinets is going to be acidic? What do I think in these cabinets is going to be basic? What do I know about the properties of those? Because once you know about the pH of something, that's a property of the solution. You know, properties are either, they're somewhere on that pH scale if they're in a solution. So you test it out yourself, All right, you know what some of my materials were, but you have a lot of different things in your kitchen. Stay safe. So get some little assistance when you're working with anything. Make sure it's safe. You may want to, if you start to use some more caustic clean stuff, I know we're all using a lot of cleaning things right now. You may want to use gloves when you're testing it. You may want to use safety glasses if you're using things a little more caustic. But start with your prediction, all right? And then run your own trials. You can do this multiple times, all right? And like, for example, who knows, maybe this Alka-Seltzer, maybe when it was sitting around for a little bit, if I would try it again, maybe I would get a completely different result. So try multiple trials, right? This is what we do with experimental design. We try many things. And then you can come up with your own pH scale. Maybe you can do some different classifications, all right? So this is one classification, but maybe you can classify things differently, all right? So work with different classifications of your results as well. So, you know what? And then, maybe send us an email, all right? So you can tell us about some of the things that you did, all right? But have fun, be safe. Hopefully soon we can all be back in the lab and running experiments back on campus. But bye for now.